Hello, this is Catherine from Living the Gourmet. Is this Chris?
Yes. Hi, Catherine.
How are you?
I'm very well, thanks.
Oh, this is such a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for coming and being on Living the Gourmet. I'm thrilled.
Great pleasure for me too. So tell me all about Living the Gourmet.
Well, have you been to my site? It's livingthegourmet.com, and it's all food and lifestyle and wine. So this is wonderful that you have come on to be on Living the Gourmet, because nothing goes better with food than good music.
Yes, I've seen it. Everything looks mouth-watering, I must say.
Oh, thank you very much. And it's just a pleasure to have you on. And I will tell my audience a little bit about you. You are an Emmy-nominated composer, and you are the music behind Duck the Halls, a Mickey Mouse Christmas special. Besides, you have done work for the smash hit Veep and Twilight, Breaking Dawn Part 2, Shrek Forever, X-Men First Class. Did I leave anything out? I'm sure I did.
Well, I have an upcoming movie, actually, although you won't know about it yet.
Oh, wonderful. Maybe you'll come back on Living the Gourmet when your movie comes out. And I can have you visit with us again.
Oh, very good. Yeah. It's with the creator of Veep. Because the creator of Veep, Armando Iannucci, has now left the show, and this was the next thing he did after that. And it's premiering at Toronto, at the Toronto Film Festival, in about a month's time.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I did leave something out, but that's exciting, and you could come back and visit again then. So I did a little research about you, and my first question to you would be, do you find it a challenge to write for the lighthearted short as opposed to the longer productions that you've worked on?
Well, Paul Rudish, who is the creator of Mickey Mouse, put it very well. He said that after doing the shorts for a long time, there was this immense desire to see what the characters would be like with more time to expand. So in a sense, it felt like kind of a release, liberating to give them some more time to interact with each other. So in fact, it was a very happy experience doing the special after doing the shorts. Shorts, in a way, the shorts are I think are wonderful. The way that everything happens so quickly, it sort of forces our hand, forces us to come up with these crazy solutions to problems. How are we going to get them all the way across the world? How am I going to express something musically very quickly? Once there's more time, in many ways, it's actually easier to express yourself.
Isn't that true? Sometimes when you're forced to do something, you have to come up with it, and you have to get it down on the paper, right? As opposed to having too much time to overthink it, right?
Right.
Well, and I noticed that you said you have to get something on the page before being overly critical of yourself and making something from nothing, as it were. So I did read that about you.
Yes, that's right. I think a lot of people with good ideas and good taste tend to be too self-critical, because they can tell when they come up with an idea, they immediately can tell that it's not as good as they'd like it to be. So I think one of the main things that you have to learn when you're embarking on a career as a creative person is to
because you worry, is this good enough? Is it great enough? Will people like it? They expect
Exactly.
yes, and they expect so much of you that you want to give them what they expect. And sometimes, I guess it's that cliche, which I don't always agree with, but it says less is more. So sometimes you just have to put it out there and see what happens. And I noticed that you're a musicologist specializing in 18th century music with a PhD from the University of Cambridge. And
Right, yes.
yes, and that's very impressive. And do you find that your classical music background helped you prepare for your work at Disney?
It really does, actually. I find that I become a researcher on every project that I do now. I would never have expected, coming straight from Cambridge to Hollywood, that there would really be any connection at all. But it's turned out quite the opposite. So when I started working on The Lion Guard, which is a Disney Junior show based on The Lion King that I do, I suddenly found very quickly that I needed to become an ethnomusicologist in a way and study the music of sub-Saharan Africa. And when I had to do a Mickey Mouse set in Mumbai in a Bollywood style, again I suddenly found that I was really analyzing the music in a very similar way to the way that I used to when I was a musicologist. So it's been quite a surprise.
Well, it's a very impressive background, and I'm sure that delving into all the different music you can't help but come up with something beautiful. Well, I also noticed that you are among the likes now of Leopold Stokowski, Peggy Lee, Louis Prima, Phil Collins, Elton John, who've all done music for Disney. And that in itself is quite something to put down on your resume, so to speak. You are in great company. Now, do you find there's a difference in the appetite for music today as to when they wrote music for Disney? And how do you approach that? Because, there's a new generation that you're writing for, so to speak.
Well, on Mickey Mouse, I find that there's a certain timeless classic flavor that we find ourselves looking for.
Yes.
It's not tied to one specific time in the past, but it does draw on elements from the 1930s, and it draws on elements from the 1960s. And often when I'm doing that, and then I see the cartoons go out into the world, it makes me very happy to think that these older styles are actually being enjoyed by young people and children who might be encountering for the first time. So I consider it quite an honor, actually, to be introducing them to those things. Perhaps later, when they hear Louis Armstrong or Henry Mancini or Esquivel, then they might think, oh, I know this. I know this from this kind of world of music.
Yes, you're touching my heart.
It might be a gateway to this.
Exactly.
The same would even be true of classical music, because very often we are. I'm using my background as a classical musician and doing a section that sounds like Beethoven or a section that sounds like Verdi or something, and I hope that actually develops good associations for very young viewers who might then go on and enjoy the things that I've enjoyed that have inspired me.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful, because I love music, and it's just something that it touches you and it stays with you, and you're not only writing for the children, you're writing for the parents as well. And I know when my son and daughter were little, I enjoyed the Disney music as much as they did, and you just go around the house, singing the songs with them. So you are writing for both generations, and that's wonderful.
Yes, and I sometimes think one thing that's really nice about the great Disney movies and songs of the past is that you can come back to them as an adult, and you don't find that you're not generally disappointed. You come back to them as an adult, and they're just as good. They sound just as good to you as they did when you were growing up.
Certainly. It's not like listening to nails on a chalkboard. So you enjoy it, and you encourage them to put it on and listen. So I think that's wonderful, and I just think that you are you're in wonderful company and part of a wonderful, group of musicians and composers, and that is such an honor.
Wonderful. There's a wonderful effect that happens. It used to happen to me with songs comedy songs that I enjoyed growing up, like Monty Python.
Oh my God!
But it also happens with the Sherman Brothers, that you know a song as a child, and then maybe around age 13, 14, you're singing it to yourself, and you realize that there's a word in there that you didn't even understand when you were younger, and now you suddenly get a joke, years later. Oh, that's what that was.
Oh, for sure. And oh my goodness, I love the songs of Monty Python and all of that. And when you said Henry Mancini and Louis Armstrong, I mean, it's really classic. And I think that to introduce young people to this today, it will just open up so many, windows for them, and it'll be a breath of fresh air. So I'm just so honored that you will be on Living the Gourmet and bringing your music to all these people. So that's really, really nice. And
well, thank you.
And you're in Hollywood now?
That's right. I live in Pasadena.
Oh, very nice.
With my wife and 2 dogs.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, if you ever come to New York, to Long Island, I would love to cook you all dinner.
Oh, thank you.
That would be a pleasure. It would just be a pleasure. And I would love for you to come back when your movie comes out, and that we could do a whole piece for that. And that would be just wonderful. So I want to thank you so much. Is there a website or that people can go to learn more about you and see your music? Is there some that you'd like to?
There is, actually.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
tell us about it.
It's ChristopherWillisComposer.com.
Okay.
All one word until the dot. It's still, it's not as fleshed out as it will be, but it's on the way.
It's a work in progress, just like everything is. Oh.
Yes.
And
you can see all of the Dr. Halls is not available on YouTube, but the shorts are all available online at the Disney site, but also on YouTube. So you can have enormous fun watching those for free.
That's wonderful. So they can go there and they can see that and meet you from that. And it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much.